Hello everyone, welcome again. We're on to part 4 of my review of this article from McKinsey, but specifically looking at process safety and process safety management and how the elements that they suggest in this article can be used constructively if you use a risk-based process safety management approach. So thank you for joining me today. What we're going to be discussing is centralizing activities. Now, when you centralize activities, you can optimize your resources, but you can also run risks that the place where you're centralizing the activities is disconnected from what's actually happening at site. Now, this was seen in the Texas City video. If you look at the CSB 20-year anniversary, I'll put a link down below. But the central group who were managing the finances for the refinery were completely disconnected from what was actually happening with regards to process safety at the refinery. And if there had been a little bit more connection, they would not maybe have encouraged further cost cutting after there had already been an 80% cost cutting on their maintenance budget. So really making sure that when you centralize activities, think about your risks. What is the biggest risk on your facility, right? Is it that people don't know what the hazards are in your facility, right? Specific hazards on your facility, how to manage it, which area they apply to, what to do in the event of emergency? Well then, would it be a good idea to centralize the training? Maybe not, because the training might need to be specific for your facility so that the people coming on your facility know the hazards associated with their work location. Another thing that can be difficult to manage from a central location is stakeholder management. So, for example, if we're communicating with regulators, that might be okay to have it centralized because there's one regulator covering a large area. However, if we're starting to think about how we engage with the emergency services so that we make sure they can support us in the event that the worst happens, which we don't want to happen, but in the event the worst happens, the emergency services are trained to deal with the hazards that are on our facility. Well, if we centralize that activity, there is a chance that the right groups local to your community will not be communicated with, or will be communicated with in a way that it doesn't fit with the local culture in your community. So some activities may need to stay with your site and others can be done centrally. So just really thinking about how you move those facilities on, making sure that you really take consideration of your local culture and your local needs. Another activity which can cause conflict is maintenance planning. Now, planning is a key skill that not everybody has, right? So centralizing this might be a good idea. However, if there are specific hazards on your facility which you are working in a temporary manner to maintain, if you centralize the activity associated with assigning the maintenance tasks, there is a chance that some of the routines you have put in place to manage situations temporarily are deleted because they are seen as non-routine activities on other facilities and they're taking time which is not required. And then that might leave you exposed to a major incident. So making sure that whenever you do any of these centralization activities, you do a management of change yourself to see what the impacts could be, what elements of the centralization you may need to keep local, still optimizing your resources, right? But you may need to keep some elements local and then utilizing the resource you may have centrally within your organization. Thank you for joining me for this episode. I look forward to seeing you next time. If you found this information useful, please subscribe below.